All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be keeping it spicy. We're going to be doing a comprehensive deep dive into green-blue Rosinante. And this is actually a video I already have plans of doing a part 2 for at some point in the future. I don't know when, and hopefully I can even get around to it, period. But I would really like to do a part 2 to this, exploring a whole nother direction to take this leader that I came across like after experimenting and playing with it, and seeing how it functions, and seeing like new cards coming out and things like that. So let me give you guys a quick run through real quick of how this video is going to go. I'm sure people who watch this, you know, my videos or follow the channel, y'all know that the layout, the format by now. But for anyone new, we're going to check out a deck list, singular, from the West, from OP-05. It was the only thing I can find on this leader. So we're going to check out one deck list, then we're going to go over some games on the sim, and then we're going to go over the deck I was using on the sim, and we'll do some final thoughts, and we'll wrap it up from there. So, guys, you know what you're getting into. There will be some spoilers. There will be a few spoilers, because once we get to the end of the video where we're talking about the deck list, I'm going to talk about some other directions to take the list and new cards that help it coming out from OP-07, stuff like that. Or at least, you know, we'll brainstorm it and do some theory crafting. All right, you know what you're getting into. Let's dive into this. We got a lot to talk about. You see it, guys. Rosinante. Don Quixote Rosinante. This is a 5,000 power, 4-life, green-blue, multicolored leader that has blocker, okay? Blocker. Now, understand, blocker requires you to rest the character or leader in order to block an attack, you know, saving another character. Well, that means we can't attack with our leader, right? No. Check out the end of your turn effect here. At the end of your turn, if your hand is 6 or if your hand has 6 or less cards, set this leader as active. So, understand, as long as we have 6 or less cards in hand, we can attack with our leader, and he'll stand up at the end of the turn so that we can block and defend our other characters with this. So that's actually very useful, but it does make us have to think a little bit like, okay, we want draw power. We have blue for draw power, and, you know, and we have searchers and everything like that within green that we can use, but we don't want to do too much draw power. We want to stay at 6 or less cards in our hand so that we can actually use our end of the turn effect and get all of our attacks in with our leader. Okay, so there's a fine balance we have to strike there. But otherwise, it's a Navy and Don Quixote Pirates type leader, so we got some pretty decent potential there in the future, I guess, right, with Navy cards and Don Quixote Pirates. Because for those who are not aware, cards like Sugar, cards like Spiderweb, you know, these are cards that, you know, are not. What's it called? Is it Spiderweb? Birdcage. Excuse me, I meant to say Birdcage, guys. Cards like that. Yes, you can use like their initial effects typically, or you can use one effect from a card like Sugar or Birdcage, but the full effect is not unless you have a Don Quixote Pirates leader, okay? Stuff like that. So we do have some potential there from the leaders' types, which is very nice. And speaking of that, that gives us a big reason to actually run the Don Quixote Pirates package, right? Let me run through the list real quick, and then we'll keep going from there. So first up, this list is a first-place list from Canada back in December of last year. It was a 22-player tournament that got first place. And, guys, like I said, this was the only deck I could find on OnePieceTopDecks.com. So, you know, excuse me, we got to take what we can get. But the list I'm running is going to be a little bit different than this. Okay, and one more thing. Remember, this is OP-05 that we're looking at, this list here. So we have a lot of room for improvement with new cards that are coming out. So real quick, so it's got 3 Eustace Kids, 2 X-Drake, 3 Trafalgar Law, 4 Viola, this is just a 2K counter, 4 Sugar, 4 Diamante or Diamante, 4 Doflamingo, the 10 cost, 4 Baby 5, the 2K counter, 4 Rosinante, 4 Baby 5, the Searcher, 4 Doflamingo, the 3 cost blocker, 2 Kaya, 2 Spiderweb, 2 Featherstring, 3 3000 Worlds, and 1 Red Rock. Notice there's no Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. Again, this is an OP-05 list. So, honestly, like, just looking at this list alone, which I think is a pretty decent list I'm going to talk more about in a second, if you literally just added Gravity Blade Raging Tiger to this list, I think it goes up. I think the potential for the deck just immediately rises a little bit. Maybe not a whole lot, but a little bit. So, that's one thing to take into consideration, like, right away. Other than that, it's running 10 2K counters. It seems a little bit low, I'm not going to lie, for a leader that, I mean, I'm not saying it is too low, but it seems like it could be a little low, considering you're going to want to block out with your leader pretty often to save your characters on the board, right? Or to protect yourself, or protect your board from certain attacks and whatever. But But at the same time, you know, there is a lot of ways to fix your top life cards. You have good ways to cycle even on 2K counters like this. And then you have ways to search up 2K counters with your other with your searchers. It is running 4 defensive events, which I am not a huge fan of. Not in this list. Excuse me. Now, like I was saying with Rosinante, or excuse me, like with Don Quixote Pirates, for purple-green, I think Diamante fits in perfectly there. Because notice this card, for those who don't know what this card does, it's a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter blocker. Everything's good. But then Dawn ×1 at the end of your turn, if you have 2 or more active Dawn, set this character as active. So then, so this is just like the same. This is the same idea as with Rosinante here, where it's like, okay, if you meet these certain conditions, you can stand it up at the end of turn. Rosinante's condition is very easy to fulfill or to satisfy, right? You just play a bunch of cards out as much as you can, counter out aggressively so that you know you'll have 6 or less cards in hand at the end of your next turn, and then you're good to go. But Diamante, asking me to have 2 active Dawn at the end of my turn is asking a lot. Now, like I said, in purple-green Doflamingo, it's not asking anything because you get to stand 2 at the end of your turn anyway. So that's why I understand why this guy included Spiderweb, and I understand why he included Featherstring, these 2 defensive events. So that way you can get further mileage, further, you know, distance out of your cards like Diamante and even potentially the leader effect. Excuse me. But other than that, I'm not a huge fan of these defensive events or the Diamante. I'm just not a big fan of it. X-Drake is interesting. Now, remember, this is a Navy leader, and there are blue Navy search cards now, right? Like, Tashigi is a blue Navy search card. So that is a potential we can go in the future. Or Supernova. Like, there's actually, like, 3 really strong paths we can go right now, and soon there will be 4 with Land of Wano. But currently, we've got Supernova, Navy, and Don Quixote Pirates. Soon, we will have access to a Land of Wano Searcher, which I think we'll be able to maybe capitalize on in a deck like this. I want to say that more for the end of the video, but then there's one other direction in blue, 7 Warlords of the Sea, which, if I ever do the part 2 that I was talking about in the intro, that's where I'm probably going to take this the direction of this deck, is actually going more with the 7 Warlords of the Sea stuff, because then I'll be able to protect my guys with my leader. And on top of that, remember, you know, the 7 Warlords of the Sea stuff, like, you play out your hand pretty quickly because of cards like Jinbei, 2K countering out early and stuff. So I will easily be able to stay at 6 or less cards in my hand and protect my board with my leader, you know, my leader's block effect. So that could be very interesting, but we'll save that more towards the end of the video. We'll talk about that more at the end of the video. Okay, other than that, everything else seems pretty standard here, pretty solid. We do get the full effect from a card like Sugar in a deck like this, where, because notice this, guys. The on-play effect any leader can use. It says on-play, rest up to one of your opponent's cost 4 or lower characters. That's fine. But the opponent's turn is only if your leader's Don Quixote Pirates type. And that allows you to rest a character whenever they play it. So good stuff there. We will get the full advantage of that. Okay, and that's about it, guys. Let's go ahead and hop into some games on the sim, and I'll show you guys the direction that I'm taking the deck currently. But again, you know, as usual, guys, I'm open to criticism. I'm open to, like, you know, what you guys think of, like, maybe a different direction or what's working out for you guys. I want to know all that. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this game, guys. We got Purple Yellow Croc up first. And he plays out Mr. 1 Daz Bones. This is a pretty nice little card, guys. Watch this. I have to, like, read the card a few times to see what's going on here. Or I think I already read it when he first played it. But right here, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to use my baby 5s. Because does he want to attack into my baby 5s? I am completely fine with that. Okay, but he activates Mr. 1 Daz Bones, plays out a Miss All Sunday. Seems good. Plays out another, or excuse me, a Miss Wednesday. And then he plays out a Miss All Sunday. He swings 1 into my baby 5 here. I actually save it. See, because then he had to swing into it there. I can use my leader. And now he doesn't want to attack my baby 5s. He's like, I'm just going to go with your leader now. It's like, no, you probably should have gone for my baby 5s, right? Because I'm going to draw all those cards back I just used. So, okay, so we'll just go ahead and start setting my hand. You're starting to see some of the new cards I'm running, guys. I'm running the 9 cost Zoro, running a lot of spicy stuff. Got the 7 Warlords of the, or excuse me, the 7 cost Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. All kinds of good stuff in here now. So swing 6 into 4. Let's see if he wants to give me anything for that. He uses the effect first, plays out another one, and lets it go. That was a card I did not play when I was messing around with the purple-yellow package for Croc, or, you know, the purple-yellow Croc, you know, the new Baroque stuff. That Mr. 1 card is actually very nice, guys, because if they don't have removal, that card is just going to start, you know, generating a lot of value for you. Okay, swings 7. And I get a Sanji. There's another card that I added. He swings 1 into 1. I'm not letting him have these cards for like little attacks like that because they replace themselves so quickly. Okay, now right here, I do have to clear up the board a little bit. We're going to swing 5 into 1. He's not going to block. No one's blocking out of that, right? Okay, he does at least get 1 more effect. He got 3 free. So for one Dawn, he actually played out 3 Miss Wednesdays for free with that Mr. 1. That was really nice. I understand that won't happen every single time, but still, that's pretty good. Okay, swings in for 5. I'm going to 1K counter out of that. I'll take this one. Swings in for 7 or 6. I'll take that too. And now, you know, this is one of the strongest plays you can do in the game, you know, to be completely honest. Right here, I'm going to swing 5 into this card. He does defend it, but I'm going to swing 1 into Hiyori. And then you just drop this guy. You know, this guy named Eustace Kid. You play out a Rosinante with him. Now he can't be KO'd. Now he can still be bottom decked if they have like Red Rock or something. But that little play right there, little 9 Dawn play, to play out your 8 cost, attach 1 Dawn, rest him to use his effect to cheat out a blocker. My leader's a blocker, and I have this other blocker. I just completely time warped on him. And now I'm just going to fill my cards up, or my hand up, with whatever cards I need. That combo there, guys, of the 8 cost Kid in conjunction with the Don Quixote package is very, very strong. Because now I'm drawing 2 cards. In this case, I'm drawing 2 cards a turn for my baby 5s. I just set my top 5 cards. I have everything where I need it. I'm going to swing 9 into 4. That card's going away. He can use his leader's effect here, or excuse me, his character's effect. And now I'm just going to swing 7. And I've got 6 cards in hand, so I can stand my guy up if I need to protect my Eustace Kid. This is the match made in heaven. Do y'all see what's going on? If he attacks into my guy, let's just say he swings into my guy like 2 or 3 times with 10k attacks, I have 2 blockers on the board, and I can use my leader as a blocker. Okay? That is very, very important for helping this card survive. Now, right away, what some people might be thinking, right here, I'm just going to give him the blue Dofi. Yep, absolutely. He can have that. Don't use that effect. This deck is definitely a little bit weak to removal. If you're going to go against, you know, soon in OP-07, there's going to be a lot of black decks out there that just are going to be able to remove anything. Okay, swing in for 14 into here. I'm just going to give him this little blocker here because I have another one in hand. But one thing I will say, guys, is with OP-07, yeah, it's true. I think this exact version of the deck does get a little bit weak. But that's not the worst thing in the world, right? Because guess what we'll be able to do? We're actually going to be able to switch the direction of the deck into 7 Warlords of the Sea or something like that. We'll talk about that more towards the end of the video when we're looking at the actual deck list. But I think this leader and this deck gets stronger in OP-07. It already got stronger in OP-06 with the addition of these 2 9-cost, you know, whatever they're called. Okay, 13 into 9. I take out his board. I have him in full lockdown. I have full control of this game. But like I was saying, guys, I think this deck only gets stronger because now we have 9-cost Sanji. We have 9-cost Zoro. We already had the 8-cost Kid, 10-cost Dofi. I love all of that. That's not going anywhere. But right here, I set my life cards. Look what I just got. I just got 9-cost Sanji into 9-cost Zoro. And here we go. You know, best of luck to you, right? That's the situation he's in now. Now, we know he does have, you know, tricks with Oh Come My Way. He can do a lot of tricks here to survive. But I'm not in any rush, right? Because I have 1 life. I have basically 2 blockers on the board, right? With Dofi and 9-cost or an 8-cost Kid. Look at this. I'm just going to swing 9 into his guy until he gives me every card from his hand. Because he cannot, that card can't survive with what I have on the board. Swing 9, swing 9. I have 5 9k attacks this turn. I probably could have gone for game. But I'd rather play this, you know, slow and steady. Because I'm not at risk of losing this game. You know what I mean? So swing 9. Okay, he sees what's going on there. Red Rock your guy. Use this character's effect. And now, I guess I'll, you know, I could have swung 9 into his face there, but I'd rather not give him any extra cards, right? I'd rather him be stuck with what he has in hand. We'll do this the slow and steady way, right? I don't want him to hit any triggers or anything like that either. Okay, so that's my first move every single turn. It's going to be swing 9 to tap this guy, and now my effect is active for my 8-cost Kid. He gets beige to shut down my Zoro, but again, I'm not in a rush, right? I'm not in any rush to win this game because I am in full lockdown. I've got 8 cards in my hand now. And I've got blockers, I got Eustace Kid, and basically 3 9-cost bodies on the board that can swing 5 times altogether. You know, so okay, pass the turn back to him. Let's see what he does. He just taps out. That was a honorable, respectable tap out there. There is no climbing back into this game. Because what can he do there? What can he do? Can he play out, he can play out the 9-cost Yamato to pop maybe, we have 3 cards on the board, or three Dawn on the board. So he can pop my blocker if he wants to, or probably the better option, honestly, would be to pop my my Baby 5, which is just, that card drew me like 5 cards this game. So he can pop that if he wants, but then what? He only has 6. He only has 1 Dawn left for the turn to swing for 6, and I have an 8K body that he has to swing through first. Just straight lockdown, guys. And look at my hand. No matter what he plays, I'm going to end up blocking it down or just beating him this next turn. Very, very powerful interactions there. Let's go on to the next game. Now, like I said, while I'm bringing this next game up, it does struggle a little bit into decks that have removal, of course, right? Because if he can just remove my characters, well, you know, that's obviously a problem. Okay, so first up here, I'm playing against Yamato, and I did not get the best pull this game. Just going to be completely honest with you guys, this is not a great pull. I have no 2K counters in hand, but hopefully I'm going to be able to start drawing cards with this, what's her name here, the Baby 5. Okay, and I just go for another one, play that one out, draw more cards. Now I can start getting some 2K counters. I'm going to swing 5 into him. He gives me a life. We'll take it. And now he has a choice, right? He kind of has a choice. Because if he attacks into one of my Baby 5s, I can actually block it with my leader and counter out, right? But if he goes at my face, he has to go at my face, right? Okay, so right here I go ahead and give him 2 2K counters and the event, making it 5K if you do it the correct way. Because I'm just going to draw 2 cards every single turn anyway, right? I'm just not even worried about it. Pudding, I take 2 cards out of his hand and reset him like that, you know, completely mess him up there. I'll swing in for 5. I draw a 10-cost Dofi, and I'm already starting to be able to transition into the late game here. Now, again, my opponent doesn't really have a choice. They have to attack me at my face, because if he attacks into my 1-cost card, I'll just block it with my leader. He can't get rid of that card unless he has another way to KO it with like an effect, like a Ryuma or an X-Drake or something random like that, which this deck typically doesn't run, right? The Yamato deck. Okay, let me make sure this is on 2x speed, guys. I'm sorry, because these games, one thing I will say is this plays like a control deck, guys. Understand that. This deck plays like a control deck. So there it goes. He does connect there. I do have to take that, but I've got blockers now. I have sugar. I have ways to shut them down. So right here, I'm going to draw 2 brand new cards with these Baby 5s. He has to remove these. He has to. I'm going to play out Rosinante, or excuse me, Doflamingo and my sugar. So now whatever he plays, I can just tap down. And now I'm going to be able to block with my Doflamingo. I've got, was that 2 2Ks in hand. I'm going to swing 5 at him here, start picking cards out of his hand, or start getting cards from his life. I'm in a very good position to transition into the late game. And that's all you're trying to do with this leader. Because once you get to the late game and you start dropping Doflamingos, 9-cost Zoros, 8-cost Kids, it is hard to deal with that. I don't care what deck you're playing against. It is hard to remove an 8-cost body or higher off the board every turn. It is very hard to do that. Okay, so he's going to swing 6 here. I'm going to give him an easy 2K counter. And right here, I still would be attacking into my Baby 5s. I'm not going to lie, guys. Like that's just what I'd be doing personally, because they're just generating too much value. Because then you can at least catch me slipping, right? Like say I have to block into them. Like maybe I'll just let it go at that point. You'll get the card off the board you want it off, and then we have to go from there. All right, so Pudding, I'm going to get some extra value out of her. Swing for 5. He takes it. He's down to 1 life, guys. He's down to 1 life. Okay, and I think that's 6 Dawn left for the turn. Okay, so I'm going to swing for 5 here. See what he does. He's got to start countering out of some of these, right? Because theoretically, if he didn't counter out of this one, I could load everything on Doflamingo and just swing. But he does end up countering out, which is very smart. I go ahead and set my top cards with Doflamingo, and now he has some really big decisions to make. I do replace my Monet, or excuse me, my Baby 5 searcher, one of my Baby 5 searchers with a Monet, so that way I can stop one of these attacks. It's really nice having 3 cards on the board that can block in case he has a Hody Jones. Because Hody Jones can tap down 2 blockers, and then I'm in a little bit of a scary situation, right? But now, it's almost like too late, right? It's almost too late. Okay, let's see what he does here. Does he want to start attacking my board, trying to get some board control back? Or does he want to start, or does he want to continue to go face? Either way is scary, right? Because whatever he attacks with, I can tap down a 4 or less with my Monet. I can tap down a 4 or less. So there's really no great way to do this. Okay, so he swings 5 at me. I'm actually just going to use this right, or actually I think I can counter out of this one easier. So I'm going to counter out of like the biggest attack with my blocker, not counter. I'm going to block out of the biggest attack with my Monet so that I can tap down that that Ohm. Okay, so right here he kind of catches on to that and he scares me because at first I thought, oh crap, you know, is he not going to attack now? Because then I just kind of wasted that whole turn that I had planned. But he does. I had a feeling he would. Tap down that guy. Your turn. And now I'm going to be able to fully lock down this board. Swing 4 into 3. By all means, give me some cards for this. You know, if you want to give me a 2K counter, I'll take it. Because I would have just swung 5 in with my leader. I'll swing 5 into face because both his characters are 6Ks. And guess what card I'm going to play? You know, you'll never guess, right? Doflamingo. Your whole board is locked down. Your entire board. I have a blocker still on the board. I have about 6K in counter, 7K in counter if you count that. Or actually, excuse me, that's a Gion. So I have 8,000 power in counter in my hand. I'm feeling very comfortable here. Feeling like I'm in a very good spot. If I'm the Yamato player in this position, I would not play that card in my deck. No offense to this person. Obviously, I have no idea who they are. First of all, I would not play that card. I see what they're going for with it, I guess, you know, because it's like it's a strong 7-cost body that you can't really KO it, right? Because then you know, it gives a Dawn card, right? On KO, you may trash 2 and gain a life. So it's nice in that way. It is a double attacker, but it's like, no, you need Hody Jones here, some way to close out this game. And maybe he runs Hody Jones. We'll have to see. Okay, so swing 5. I'm gonna eat some cards from his hand here before I load up everything on my leader. Okay. I could have technically played more for the late game. So right here, I actually do go 5 to get 1 more card out of hand. And look what card we get out of hand. This was a dead giveaway that he had nothing left. Okay, swing 5. Let's see what he does. He actually gives me, I think it's like a 1-cost 4K or a 1-cost 2K. I can't remember. All right. Hey, we're just waiting. You know, sorry guys, I'm just waiting for him to make his play here. He knows he's up against the ropes because my next attack is coming in for 13K. Okay, but he does have a lot of Dawn open, so it was an L-Thor. So 1 cost, just to stop that attack, he had to use an L-Thor. So I was like, okay, so you're just dead. Right, there's no way out. Okay, because even if he had 2 more L-Thors, you know what I mean, he can't get out of it. So interesting deck he had there. He was running a lot of cards that attack, but not really what you're trying to go for. Because that deck had a good start against me. Being able to pop my sugar like that and all that, like that was like pretty solid, but towards the end it fizzled out once I got my control stuff down. Okay, last game we got against Nami. Last game on the sim for today. Let me get us at 2x speed here. Maximize the screen, 2x. Yeah, we're good to go. Okay, so Nami. So here, this becomes the question. How does this deck deal with something like Nami? Because the slower decks actually struggle severely against Nami. Well, no problem. Number 1, I think I'm running 2 Gions in this deck, and I think I'm running 3 Puddings. So that is absolutely devastating. But watch this guy. This is crazy. I've never seen anything like this. This guy plays out Zeph. I'm like, okay, that card's going bye-bye. You're not keeping that card, right? Pass the turn back because I'm trying to fill out my board. And this guy draws like every single Kaya in his deck, every single Zeph, and he starts winning the game with Kaya and Zeph combos. Just nonstop back and forth. And look what he's trashing. Because he sees Gion, he's trashing every single event in his hand for pure character, you know, support, however you want to say it, which is very smart. And guys, he's tapped out here, so I can at least attack. But it's like, now I'm scared. I don't even know if I want to attack, right? It's like, do I even want to attack here? The answer is yes, obviously. But he has no Dawn, so it is worth attacking. Now, I can still attack with Gion, but I'm not risking that, because if he bounces one of my guys out of the way, you know, then he could potentially, you know, well, I don't know. I probably should have attacked. Looking back, guys, I should have attacked with Gion. That was a play mistake, because it's a 4-cost 5K with a 2K counter. Yeah. Okay. So I am starting to get a board here, but this guy is just zipping through his deck. Now I'm going to swing 9 into him. He gets draw 2 from Impel All-Stars or whatever it's called. I think that's what the card's called. I think it's Impel Down All-Stars or something like that. But I'm swinging 5, swing 7. My guy stands up. He gets a Sanji's pull off. He is just drawing like absolute craziness. And here's the thing. Gion's effect only works on your turn. Right? So when they use defensive counters. But that's okay. I finally got my hands on a pudding. That was what we were looking for. I'm going to swing 9 here. He takes it. And honestly, I should just pass the turn, I feel like. Well, I don't know. Actually, no, I shouldn't. I should not pass the turn. Excuse me. I should keep attacking into him because he can't play out any events because he has 0 Dawn available. He bounces back Gion. No problem. I'll swing 5. He'll give me a 1K here, I'm sure. Yep. I'll play Gion back out. Your turn. He has 9 cards left in hand. And then this is absolutely devastating here, guys. Now he's like, okay, I'm at a point where I don't really care about the Gion. 7 cards left in his deck. Okay. My turn. Okay, you have how many cards? 8? Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and hit you with pudding. And now whatever you play is going back. And he quit out of that game so fast, guys. He quit out so fast. Okay, right when I put out the pudding, I'll pause it right there. So he went from 7 cards left in his deck up to 10. And I have Gion down, so whenever he plays his first event, a card's going back to the bottom of his deck. I'm going to be swinging in with all these different cards here. He's trashed most of his events playing around the Gion, but it's just too much. You know, it's too little, too late kind of thing. But I'll tell you this right now, guys. This was a very good Nami player. He knew exactly what he was doing to play around my Gion. I don't think my Gion even put a single card back in his deck. That was wild. Really good good stuff for my opponent there. He was a very, very good Nami player. Okay, now, on to the deck list that I'm using. Those were some pretty long games, I will say. Remember, I have these sped up at 2x speed. Those were some pretty long games. All right, let me go ahead and move my face over here. Let me start bringing up the green and blue cards while we're waiting. So notice, I do have the 2 Gions and the 3 puddings, and I'll read through the list in just a second here. Let me let these cards load in. It takes a second. There we go. And now for blue. And I haven't even... Like I said, guys, I really need to do a part 2 of this video sometime in the near future, talking about some potential options it's going to have going into OP-07. And maybe that's when I'll revisit this list, is when OP-07 does finally get really close for us in the West. I'll talk about it as a cool deck to try out on on week 1 or something like that. But okay, as far as this list goes, I removed the leader just so it fits better on the screen. Because notice if I put the leader on the screen here, it makes it into 3 rows. So I just took that off so you guys can see it better. So I'm running 3 Eustace Kids, 4 Viola, 4 Sugar, 3 Doflamingos, 4 Baby Fives, 4 Rosinantes, 4 Baby Five the Searcher, 3 Monets. This card was really nice, especially with Eustace Kid. It was a really nice little combo because Eustace Kid, for those who are not aware, when you can activate the main and rest the character to play out a 3 cost or less character from your hand. So that's perfect at 3, and it can also lock down characters when it blocks. I would say this is like the second best target to Rosinante, because Rosinante just says, okay, opponent's turn. If one of your other rested characters would be KO'd, you may instead trash this character. So even if they try to KO Eustace Kid, you can actually just completely counter it with this effect. Very, very powerful. So 3 Monets, 2 Zoros, and 2 Sanjis. I'm sorry, I had to skip around a little bit there. 2 Zoros and 2 Sanjis. That seemed like it was a pretty decent mix. 4 Doflamingos, 2 Gion, 3 Pudding. I run 2 of the 0-cost Don Quixote searchable event. I think this is very solid because, again, you can search this up with Baby 5. Well, not that one, excuse me, with this one. And then you can trash cards from your hand that might be dead. Like if you just don't need Sanji, you already have a Zoro on the board, or you already have a Doflamingo and the 8-cost kid. Well, you could just trash it to get a 3K counter out of it. You know what I mean? That's very solid. Sanji, yeah, this, and then 2 Red Rocks. This will probably go up to 4 in OP-07, I feel like, or maybe even up to 3, we'll have to see. And then 4 Gravity Blade Raging Tigers. Excuse me. So, real quick, notice I kept most of the Don Quixote package that the other deck was running. That wasn't me trying to copy the list. When I put this list together, number 1, I got to give a shout out to Snickers, the guy, not the brand Snickers, a guy named Snickers in my in the Discord. If you guys are not on the Discord, come hang out with us in there, because he's the one that rekindled my urge to want to play this leader. Because when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. It's not really my colors, but I'd like to try that sometime. But he let me put it this way. The way that I am about Black Yellow Lin, how that's always going to be my fallback deck of the deck that I like to play for fun. I think it's interesting, it's challenging. That's how this guy is in my Discord with Blue-Green Rosinante, or Green-Blue Rosinante. That's his baby, right? Like Lin's my baby, this is his. We have, how I have hundreds of games played probably at this point for Black Yellow Lin. I think he was saying he had hundreds of games played with Rosinante. So big shout out to him for putting this idea, this leader's idea in my mind, because I had all but forgotten this leader existed. You know what I mean? Because that happens. There's so many leaders in the game now. I think there's like, what, 75 leaders in the game. So every now and then a leader just kind of slips under the radar. But this leader, guys, after playing it and after we talk about some cards in OP-07, I'm surprised this leader has not seen some type of, you know, rebirth or real, you know, I'm surprised people have not revisited this leader, because let me say this is why. Going into OP-07, there is a pretty strong 7 Warlords of the Sea package. Remember, guys, for those who are not aware, I made an entire video on Boa, on Doflamingo, and on Green Blue Zoro and Sanji. Green Blue Zoro and Sanji, all running the exact same 7 Warlords of the Sea list. Like, I did not change a single card, I just changed the leaders out. And it runs almost exactly the same. Here's the crazy part, guys. With let me bring back Rosinante, just so we can actually see him on here. The same list I used can be run through this leader, because it's not a leader locked list. Like, for example, Edward Weevil, this is just a good card that came out. It's a 4-cost 6K that draws a card on play. Well, it's not locked to 7 Warlords of the Sea. Same idea with, like, Doflamingo. I'm already running this card, right? I'm already running this one. And then you've got a bunch of other cards in here. Boa Hancock. And what else? There's and all these new 2K counters, too, by the way. Trafalgar Law, Jinbei, Crocodile. These are all coming out in OP-07. All those cards I just said, Trafalgar Law, Jinbei, Boa Hancock, and Crocodile, are all coming out in OP-07. So there will... when I do go to revisit this deck, you know, spoiler warning, I'm already giving you a heads up, this is probably what I'm going to mess around with. I'm going to keep the late game stuff, right? Why not? Why not keep the late game stuff? It's good as is. But being able to have that strong early game with cards like Jinbei, cards like Edward Weevil, I think it has a lot of potential. Now, I don't know if it does or not, guys. You know, do not misquote me, guys. Do not misunderstand me. I'm not saying like, oh, this is definitely the way to go, but it's the way that I want to try out next with this leader, because I can protect my characters. You know, one of the hard parts about playing this with Blue, Green, Zoro, and Sanji, or with Boa, or with what's his name, Doflamingo here, is I can't protect my characters on the board outside of using counter power. Well, with Rosinante, I can just stand up at the end of the turn and just counter that way, you know, or just block that way. I can save counters in hand and do things like that. It's just, I don't know, I just think it's very, very interesting, guys. Very good stuff here. And who knows, at that point, maybe there's an idea to play something like, you know, the other, there's another Doflamingo coming out, I think. I think it's a 3-cost Doflamingo that can, like, play out cards similar. Here it is. So, check this out, guys. This is a new card coming out in OP-07 as well. This is a 3-cost, 4,000 power Doflamingo. Activate main once per turn, pay 2, reveal 1 card from the top of your deck. If that card is a 7 Warlords of the Sea type character card with a cost of 4 or less, you may play that card rested. Then place the remaining cards on the bottom of your deck. So there are some ideas here, guys. There's some ideas here to maybe run this Doflamingo. You can run, you know, you can actually... Here's one thing that's really interesting. Sorry, guys. We're just cooking right now, guys. Y'all bear with me. I'm just coming up with ideas right now. Y'all can run with them or say otherwise. You know, maybe say like, nah, that probably won't work. You guys give me your thoughts on it. But we can actually run like a 50-50 package with Don Quixote. Well, actually, let me say more like a 75-25 package. Like 75% 7 Warlords of the Sea and 25% Don Quixote Pirates. Where we still run the Baby 5 Searcher, so that way we can snag cards, you know, first of all, like Rosinante, where is he? We can still, you know, we can snag cards like Rosinante with it, cards like Sugar, cards like the Big Dofi, and maybe even the 2K counters. Well, I don't know. That might be a stretch, because these 2K counters from 7 Warlords of the Sea are incredible. But anyway, hear me out, guys. We could use this to search up the 2 3-cost Doflamingo cards, and a few others, you know, like the 10-cost Doflamingo. And that way we can keep our, like, the top of deck aggression going. You see what I'm saying? Where we can keep playing cards off the top of our deck, cheating them into play with cards like this, and, well mainly like this, in conjunction with the other Doflamingo. So there might be something there. We'll have to see, guys. Like I said, I have not play tested that yet. I'm just brainstorming, just theory crafting. And then, of course, we'll be able to fit in cards like this in the deck at that point to give our guys unblockable to close out games. There's a lot of potential here, guys. I think there's a lot of potential. And I really want to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Like, y'all make sure to help me out there. As far as like the best packages to go, we already went over the Don Quixote stuff. Like we already know about this. This is just really, really good. There's a lot of really strong Doflamingo or Don Quixote cards we can run. And this was the Birdcage card I was talking about, by the way, guys. So if Red Purple Law remains the best deck in OP-07, and decks that can run Birdcage become extremely powerful counters to Red Purple Law, maybe this deck finds a way, right? Maybe, and this is Don Quixote searchable, by the way, guys. So if your leader is Don Quixote Doflamingo, actually, oh, it's only Doflamingo. Sorry, guys. Sorry. It's only Doflamingo. I can't believe they would do that, guys. I wish they had let that be Don Quixote Pirates leader. Okay, sorry, guys. That's just for the this Doflamingo right here, pretty much exclusively. Yeah, just this leader exclusively. That's unfortunate. All right, so disregard that. But other than that, you know, the Don Quixote Doflamingo stuff is very strong. We have a lot of really good options in here, and a lot of cards we're already using that are super good. See, look at this one, man. The sugar says if your leader is Don Quixote Pirates. That is perfect. But Birdcage, and I understand. I understand, like, from the lore aspect, this is literally Doflamingo's, you know, big move, right? But who cares, man? Like, for the game, for the sake of balance, for the sake of, like, helping the game out, I feel like this would have been perfect for Rosinante for green-blue. That's okay. So, Don Quixote Pirates, that is one thing. Another good one that we can consider is Navy. Navy is a whole nother route we can take. Because Tashigi is a blue Navy searcher, right? So, we'll be able to search up cards like Hina, whatever 2K counters we want, like Gion, Suru. There's quite a few. Also, this new Garp. This new Garp search is actually really solid. Or Cycle card, I guess. What else? We'll be able to search up cards like Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. There's a lot of options there. A lot of stuff there. And this new Aramaki card. I think this is just a solid defender. And if we're going to keep Sanji in, which we don't have to. We don't have to keep Sanji in. I think a lot of people would consider this card a little too gimmicky. But in this deck in particular, and in the new... I've got a video coming out, guys, on... you know, I'm going to be talking about some of the new cards, the new leaders from OP-08 soon. And we'll be talking about Red Blue Marco. And I will say this, guys, I do think Sanji is perfect in that deck. Like, make sure you keep an eye on the prices for Sanji, guys. I don't know if it's going to go up or down. We'll have to see. But I do think this card is absolutely perfect in Red Blue Marco. Maybe it's not needed. I will say that too. I don't think the card's needed, but it could be very interesting. We'll have to see how things shape up in the East. Okay. Other than that, guys, that's... Oh, X-Rank. This is another effect similar to... This is a top 5 rearrangement card, just like Doflamingo is. So Navy, Don Quixote Pirates, 7 Warlords of the Sea, and then another option we can have is Supernova. You guys see, like, blue and green is actually an extremely powerful combination of cards, right? But maybe... I don't know. Some cards are too exclusive within those colors. Like, for example, Birdcage, like what we just saw, we can't even run that in our blue-green deck. Basil Hawkins, we can't run... Well, I guess technically we can run this card, but it's not a blocker unless your leader is Supernova types. Same thing with Cavendish. There's a new card coming out called Cavendish. Here he is. If your leader is Supernova type, then you get this amazing effect. It's like, man, the cards they pick and choose to limit, like, think about it like this. Gecko Moria is not limited. I'm not trying to complain. I'm not trying to start a riot, guys. It's nothing like that. But I'm just saying, like, how is this card limited to one leader type of Supernova? And yet, Gecko Moria is just splash it whatever color, in whatever color you want, right? That has black as well. Just wild. Uruj, this guy here is very nice as well. Now, he is Supernova searchable, but he does not require your leader to be Supernova. So this card could be very good. And if we go the Don Quixote Pirates Supernova route in the future, a card like this actually does help our ability to keep Tudon active to, like, get our Diamante to stand up at the end of turn. Like, so there is some potential here. This card, of course, is also the same exact idea. It's a 7-cost, 7,000 power blocker. Dawn times 1 at the end of your turn. You can set this card as active. So you can swing for 8 with this guy, and he stands up for free at the end of the turn, and now you have a 7K blocker. So this card is very solid. Bonnie would obviously be the searcher in this package. She's perfect for that. This is another searcher that just came out, by the way. I forgot about this one. It's really meant for Bonnie, for the new Bonnie leader. But check this out, guys. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 card with a Supernova type besides more pizza and add it to your hand. Okay, so this is a top 5 searcher for green Supernovas as well. I mean, you can search up any supernova, but I'm saying it's a green card. Okay. What else? That's really about it, guys. Just to kind of summarize, the way that I think this leader plays best, let me find him. Where'd he go? There he is. The way that this leader plays best, guys, in my personal opinion, is more of the control route. I think staples in this deck, I mean, we'll have to see. Like I said, give me some time for OP-07 to come out before I revisit this with like a blue-green, almost like a Zoro and Sanji style deck. Like straight up copy-paste the list over. Not literally, but like have that kind of effect where I can just run things over with the 7 Warlords of the Sea stuff. But until then, this card seems like a staple. Like, I'll tell you guys the cards I think are staples, and then, you know, you can go from there, or you guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below if you agree or disagree. Eustace Kid, absolutely staple. Like, this card, as soon as you drop this card down, and you have 6 or less cards in your hand so you can stand up your leader to block with them, this card is lockdown. This card is an absolute lockdown card. 2K counters, you can pick and choose depending on what package you go, it doesn't matter. Sugar, absolutely necessary. I'm just saying, this forces them to remove the card, and if they're using their removal on a card like this, who cares, right? Like, you know, that's completely fine. It already gets its value as soon as it enters play, allows you to attack into cards on the board, and all that good stuff. Maybe it's not necessary. Like, I don't know. See, I want to say it's staple, but maybe it's not. Maybe this card is like better as a 2-of utility card. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. This card, Doflamingo, is one of the best chain 10-cost cards in the game. What I mean by that, I know that sounded clumsy. What I'm trying to say is this. You can play out a Doflamingo to lock down 3 targets, and then next turn, you play out another Doflamingo, you can lock down those exact same 3 targets. So chaining Doflamingos together is incredible value, because each time you're dropping a 10K, right? Like every single time you are dropping a 10,000 power character. So that is actually very, very important. Very, very solid card for finishing out games. Zoro is an incredible finisher, but it does seem, in this deck, I'm really trying to just hit it with the Sanji, and I did get it one game. I think I played only 3 games with this deck, winning against the 3 we saw in the sim, and that was a wrap. Like, it was like, okay, this deck's doing pretty decent, but it definitely will struggle into, like, mono black decks, like Lucci, Gecko Moria, Sakazuki, but that's kind of leaving, right? Like Sakazuki will be gone in OP-07. We don't have to worry about that anymore. But any decks that feature, like, extremely, like, large amounts of removal, like every turn removal, this deck will probably struggle against a little bit. At least if you can make it to late game with enough health, you know, with enough life left, excuse me, and you can start dropping down these big guys, they can't just remove a 10 cost every turn. Yeah, theoretically, who knows? If they have the perfect pool, they can do whatever they want. But, like, theoretically, they're not going to remove a 10 cost every single turn. So if you're chaining Doflamingos together, which is helping you get further and further into the game, maybe they Stussy the first one. But then when you drop the next one to you know, lock down their board, and you take the hit from Stussy, that's fine. You know, you at least have somewhere to go from there. You know, that in theory, that's how it would work. 2K counters, like I said, just pick what you want to. Let me keep going, though. Rosinante, I think this card, if you're going to go Eustace Kid, I don't know why you wouldn't run Rosinante. It's like a match made in heaven. This will help you early on against the aggressive decks that are trying to swing in. Because even, think of it like this, like, oh man, can't Red Purple Law just bottom deck it? Yeah, they can if they want to lose 3 Dawn. I'm fine with that. Because for those who are not aware, Red Purple Law does not have infinite Dawn. Like, you know, especially early on in the game. So if you get down Rosinante turn 1 and then turn 2 get down something like a Doflamingo, you're going to start annoying them. There's too many bodies for them to keep up with, and they're going to have to keep going backwards in Dawn every time, and you're going to be able to eventually get to, like, you know, turn 5 or turn 3. Well, turn 4. It'd be turn 4. You can just wipe the board clean with Gravity Blade, Raging Tigers, swinging into their stuff that's tapped, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I do think there is some reason to still run Rosinante no matter what. Monet, same idea. You know, these little blockers are super annoying. Pudding is just a MVP against certain matchups. I think this is like one of the best cards in the game. Y'all might think I'm crazy. I think this is a common. No, it's a rare. But y'all might think I'm crazy, but I think this is like one of actually the strongest cards in the game. Because it does a bunch of things. Number one, it can just destroy their hand. Just completely destroy their hand. That's number one, what it can do. Even if they have 5 cards in hand, they might have picked those over the course of the game, and you just drop this card and have them shuffle it all back, and now they choose 5 random cards. It could completely break them. That's number one. Number two, if they have anything above 7, 8, 9 cards, it demolishes their game plan, demolishes their late game, and any kind of, what do you want to call it? Any of their, like, advantage they generated is gone now. it completely hard counters Nami. This card hard counters Nami more than Gion does. I mean, you guys saw it. Like, you can just rewind back in this video and rewatch that game against Nami. This Gion was worthless against that Nami player. Like, not literally worthless. It made them play around it, but they were down to 7 cards, and then I dropped a pudding and they left the game. Right? Like, that's how that story went. Right? But here's the thing. This card also subliminally makes people play around it. Because people will see, oh, I'm playing against a blue deck. Well, I'm going to, like, play out cards in a certain way now so that I'm under 5. So I'm at 5 cards or under every single turn. So, like, you're forcing them into less than desirable plays. This card is so good, guys. That's all I'm going to say. Absolutely brutal. So I'm running 3 of these, though, because I don't want to just play one every turn. I just want to get one major putting off every turn. Or every game, excuse me. Not every turn. Once per game, a devastating hit with pudding. Sanji, like I said, with Zoro, you can kind of pick your flavor. Like, whatever 8-cost character you want to play with, you know, you could probably mess around with this if you go with the, the Don Quixote Supernova stuff. You could probably mess around with this because then you can get your 5-cost laws back with it, right? Or you could put down 5-cost law, which pulls back other cards. You can do a lot of tricks with that. And there's also, well, no, we can't run Cavendish, but there's a new Supernova card coming out. There it is. Jewelry Bonnie. Like I said, if you go Don Quixote Pirates Supernova package, you will be able to do a lot of tricks with, Rosinante. So let me get back to it. Everything else here is kind of mid. Like, we already know, Kid's incredible. Eustace Kid's incredible. Aramaki's okay, but I would not run Odin. I would not run Odin in this deck. Rosinante, it's a little combo-y. It can be kind of bricky. For 9-cost cards, any 3 of these cards you can run, to be honest. Because even if you don't run Zoro to combo with Sanji, you can still throw down Eustace Kids with them. You can still throw down, something like a Mihawk. If you want to go like Mihawk and Sanji, that's a combo as well. This card has a lot of utility. Let me look at 7-cost cards real quick before we go to 10. Borsalino and Doflamingo, these are probably your 2 best picks from all the 7-cost stuff. Hody Jones isn't bad. I mean, that might be a spicy game ender or finisher card, a way to finish games out. That could be decent. I'm not going to lie. This card's decent, like I said, but it's hard to find room in your deck for a card like this. That's the one thing I'll say. Like, if it doesn't have like a very relevant on-play effect, then it's not exactly incredible. Now, this is at least a 7-cost blocker, or 7-cost 7K blocker that comes right into play. Like, that's excellent. And later in the game, it's just going to keep getting tons and tons of value. But it is hard to play this card out. Whereas, like, I could play out a 7-cost 7K that pops one of their beaters back to their hand, and now I just got a 7-cost 7K, and I'm going about the game that way. And if they want to waste removal on that, they can. Same with this card. They can waste removal on these cards if they want to. But this card gets its effect immediately, whereas this one has to hopefully get it the next turn. It has more like potential effect, or what do you call it? Potential value. Okay, and then last but not least for the 10-cost stuff, this is like random. I don't know why this stuff comes up when I put in 10. But let me see. Okay, so Doflamingo we're already running. The Kaidos aren't really what we're going for. This card is leader locked to Whitebeard Pirates, unfortunately. Kaido is not bad. Okay, this is actually a very, very strong card. And who knows, if you can go like, turn 5, Eustace Kid, into turn 6, Kaido to just bounce everything out of your way, all of a sudden this card is absolutely, they can't take care of it anymore. Like, it's impossible to KO at that point. You know what I mean? But again, it's going to come down to removal. And how much removal is your opponent going to have? This can bounce back something like a Gecko Moria and some 3-cost or lower card, but do you want to give them a card like that back? Against yellow, I think this would be an absolute powerhouse because this pops back their Katakuri. They can have Katakuri back all day, right? Because they're already going to play it to bounce our Eustace Kid out of the way. So, like, all right, here, you can have the card back too. So now it's my turn, and I've got a 10-cost 12K on the board. Something to think about. It's at least something to think about. The draw 4 one could be interesting. I will say, like, I think in this deck, this card could be pretty decent. Now, you have to be careful. If you need to block with your leader and this puts you over 6 cards, it could be a little bit dangerous. So you do have to make your turn, you have to correctly play the game, right? You still have to make intelligent decisions. But this could be pretty good in Rosinante. I'm not going to lie. This could be pretty decent. So, yeah, that's about it, guys. I'm pretty much just rambling at this point. You guys tell me, again, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments section below. I love trying to make leaders work that are not very successful, right? Like, leaders that are not doing well, I like to try to make them do better. The thing I'm most looking forward to, just to summarize, what I'm looking forward to the most to try in OP-07 are these Warlord cards. I've made like 4 videos now, I think, on 7 Warlords of the Sea combo decks, right? Or not combo decks, but like, you know, decks featuring 7 Warlords of the Sea that are all through different leaders. Like I said, I played one with Boa Hancock, played one with Doflamingo, played one with Green Blue Zoro Sanji, and now I think it's time to mess around with Rosinante. It might be time to mess around with it like that. And if I ever do a part 2 to this, which I do hope I can get around to, I do want to do it, I might have to give this a try. Because, I mean, like I said, the package itself is so strong for the characters and the events, is so strong and so universal that you could just mix and match your leader with it. And who knows, what if adding something like the blue-green Zoro and Sanji effect with like this Doflamingo, maybe that's what'll take it to the next level. We'll have to see. And as usual, guys, y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. Okay, I'm done. Let me get up the patrons here. Big shout out to my patrons who help me out in the ways that they do. Thank y'all so much, guys. Y'all are the best. Thank you to everyone who views my channel, everyone who views, likes, subscribes, shares, comments, all that stuff, guys. Thank y'all so much. The channel just keeps on growing, and I really appreciate you guys. All right, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you've not already. Thank you guys for stopping by, listening to this old man ramble. I hope y'all enjoyed, and until next time, guys, peace.